Clay brush I use quite a lot too. I haven't really used it since I started today, but clay brush, it works in a way that basically lets you build up material slowly. So I can say, like you can see as I'm building, like I'm clicking a lot, but it lets me build up to the right level without having to do the heavy-handed. Like I could do a single stroke that pulls it way up and then trim back, or instead I can work on the other side of time and actually finesse it up instead of this way. So I'm gonna actually go back to where I was there. So yeah, let me get a little bit more of these big shapes in. Again, I'm a little bit high res for what I need to be doing. And it's something I really stress, especially if you're just starting. I probably most of you have played with Zbrush quite a bit, but really your best bet as far as learning and being efficient with this stuff is to really get in and work as low as you possibly can. When you when you don't when you work higher, oops, when you work higher and you haven't got the forms in, like the underlying forms really clean, if I start sculpting in that little, I guess I'm not really entirely sure what that is. Maybe it's a sawn off like horn or something. You don't have as interesting of a sculpt. Like that might look fine from like the angle you were at right here, but when you zoom out, that's a pretty flat plane still. So building in the low res lets you commit a little bit broader strokes and a little bit more lighting into this before you start getting involved in that micro detail. And it will always end up being a better model. And I know if some of you probably have like watched some of my videos, and I'm not practicing what I preach in most of those videos, but I do this a lot, I guess, and so I guess I sort of know where those details are going to come in and how I can build them up at higher res. But as far as learning goes, it's absolutely invaluable to work the same way you would work on a painting. Let's see, there's a question about, 1 second. Stufu's Evil Twin, can you repose the question? I'm not sure. Keep it from refocusing on the model when I alt left mouse button click. I'm not sure. What do you mean? I guess you'll have to ask again, because I'm not sure what that means. Alright, well I'm gonna keep going. If you repose that, I'll try and answer it. I'm not sure what you mean. So again, back to trying to sculpt in a little bit more of that appropriate lighting. Looking at the concept, trying to envision what the broader shapes would be. That is a jam over there. Yeah! Killing it. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the jams that are going on right now, but pretty important. It's a very important part of ZBrushing is to have the appropriate music playing while working. That music does not involve Creed, I will tell you that right now. So Stufu's Evil Twin, I actually have local transform on. So you see this little icon over here? It basically sets it so that every time I touch it, no matter what I'm sculpting, it actually sets that anchor point. So it focuses on whatever I've been working on. So as I'm sculpting, now that's my focus point. If I click over here and start sculpting there, that's what it's going to rotate and zoom around. So local transformations in, I believe in the transform menu, I can't see because, yeah, so in the transform menu is where it will be forever. That's a really important thing to have on all the time, in my estimation. When you're sculpting, it basically is the same as in Max, where I set it so that whatever vert I have selected is what I'm rotating around. So whatever I was working on last is going to be what I rotate around, so I can scoot around to say that, you know, I want to work the eye socket out a little bit more, but now I'm going to keep working around that. It's going to keep that in focus for me. Hey, Day, did you see if anybody else had like emailed you while we've been? What's that? Yeah, I mean it's certainly welcome to join. Funny thing is me trying to work the way that I actually I tell you to work. Right now I'm working much lower than I normally would because it seems appropriate when I tell you that's what you should be doing. But generally speaking, I work pretty high, all things considered. Doing it wrong. Mental Ra, I can't actually see your whole name. Mental Radiation. Music suggestions? I got them all day. That's all I do is suggest music. And break records. I break records and suggest music. What's that? You're singing a little song? Jason's singing a little song for me over here. Yeah. Mental Radiation. Listen to a little bit of Mux Mool. Muxmool. That's what we're jamming out right now. So, I mean, he's starting to get a little bit more of the character. I'm going to do a little bit more broad strokes on this underside. This is pretty flat right here in the concept. So what I'm going to actually end up doing is interpreting that as I see fit. There's a lot of that at the company I work at ArenaNet. We do a lot of... it's nice to have a company where I'm given concepts that are pretty loose a lot of times, and I can use my own creativity to fill in the blanks. I don't really like having the explicit, hey, here's an ortho, go do it. Enough years of that told me that I don't need that or want it. So, oh, it's on again. What? This is that jam from earlier. I might have to break down a little dance move right here, guys. So, uh-oh, what's happening? Amber, I might need some volume on this. Oh, she's off in La La Land. A lot more move tool using the alt. Uh-oh, here comes. Ah! All right, now we're good. Now we're good. So yeah. So yeah, a lot of scribbly bits, a lot of quick gestures of what I think isn't quite giving me the right silhouette. The eyes seem a little bit big right now, so I'll move again. This time I'm just using screen space. Shrink them down a little bit. Pull back the base slightly. Never be afraid to smooth out things that you don't think are quite committing the right shading to your model. So